Libra.
Hello Libra, Happy New Year 2015. I want to thank you all for having followed through 2014, and for all of you new viewers, I wish you welcome to my channel where we're going to go month by month through what you can expect in your charts. So the big news here this month is that Saturn has shifted signs. It's moved out of Scorpio into Sagittarius, and in Scorpio it's been challenging, asking you to grow, become more conscious of your financial income. It's been moving through your second house. And so that has been a real test for many of you, but you're going to start seeing how this is going to alleviate right now, and it's going to free you up, and you're going to see that your income is going to start coming in again, or upping itself to new levels. We will have a little revisit back into this area a little bit later in the summer, which will be through from June 14th to September 17th. So then it will just come back in to wrap things up, all right? But you're going to get a good feel for what now is going to take place prior to that happens. And then you're going to pick up from there after September 17th, and then you'll be fully on the roll with Saturn in the third house. So what is Saturn in the third house? Third house is communication. It's you, your community, your neighbors, it's your siblings. Saturn here now is going to ask you to grow within these areas. There might be more responsibilities coming to you, where you can not just be challenged, but actually it's all about mastering, all right? So when we live up to those challenges given to us, if we choose to see them as an opportunity for growth, we won't really feel it being challenged as in being heavy. It's more like now we have the chance, the time of our life to actually expand our consciousness in this area. It's been 28 years since Saturn was here for you. That would have been the years there between 1985 and 88. So for those of you who are old enough, go back to those years. What happened? Where did you grow? This is the higher octave of it, all right? So communication, well, that is all about how we communicate on a day-to-day basis. It's what we give out, what we take in. Of course, communication is always a two-way thing. For those of you who are writers, you know, the written word is communication too. You might feel now that obligations are coming in, opportunities to really show what you can master. So it's going to be exciting. And of course, short distance travel comes in under here as well. Not necessarily, you know, out of country journeys, though that could also come about because, in fact, it is in the sign of Sagittarius, which rules foreign people, places, and countries. So that could come as well. But, so that's a little bit about Saturn, and already here in January, we're going to have a couple of run-ins with transits to Saturn, which is just going to open up, you know, slightly the doorway so you can start feeling how this pulse is different than what it has been for the last 2.5 years. We also have Jupiter retrograde. Just want to talk about the retrogrades right now. First, it turned retrograde December 9th, which it will be to April 9th. Jupiter is in your area of hopes and dreams and wishes. So when Jupiter goes backwards, we come back in touch with opportunities that might have just passed us by. We get a second chance of it. Jupiter is still quite expansive. It is the greatest body out there in the solar system, so it will still do a lot of good things for you in this area, which also rules groups and organizations and the business that you own. And so you can still see that you might want to retweak, go back over how can you perfect, do it better, pay attention more so to those details, so that come April, when Jupiter moves forward again, well, then you will see that these new grand doors are going to be opening up for you. So, you know, when we're conscious of a retrograde planet, we can really enhance the experience of it. Mercury will go retrograde January 21st this month and be retrograde to February 11th. And it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius rules technology, so it's not the best of time to go out there and get a new computer or a new phone or car. Those things technologically created can tend to come out funky, and then you're just going to have to go and return it and go through all of that hassle. So anytime after February 12th, things would ease up in that area. And Mercury also is going to be in your 5th house for true love, you know, a new love and romance, but also in the area of children. So you might feel that within these areas, Mercury now is going to ask you to focus on what needs to be reorganized or go back over situations that wasn't really closed. And it could be your children coming to you, needing your attention a little bit more. And also within love and relationship too. You might, you know, have an old flame contact you out of the blue. We see that oftentimes under Mercury retrograde, that old friends and flames do come back around. And especially when it's the 5th house that has to do with love. So that's for you here, Libra, on that note. Now, let's start and talk a little bit about what's happening on top of the month. We have Mars and Jupiter. They're opposed to one another. Mars is in your 5th house for creativity, self-expression. It's the dynamic energy that you want to take out right now. It's like you want to spread your wings. And then Jupiter, being in opposition, well, maybe it isn't the best time to make a major decision because of this transit. Jupiter is up there in the 11th house for hopes and dreams. So it's more like, it's asking, do you really want this? Is this what you want? You know the expression, what we ask for, we might get, right? And so be prepared for it. And there might not be all the information around you that is clear to you quite yet. A little bit later in the month, you'll see how more information is going to come in and you'll be more sound to make a good decision there. Already on January 3rd, I feel there is a situation coming from your partner that where he or she might have to do something, or maybe you have to do something different. So you might have to split on your time together. Sometimes Uranus can create a separation. We're not talking that kind of separation. This could only be maybe for a day or two. Maybe you have to run off and do something where he or she can't follow, or vice versa, due to whatever circumstance. That's one way this could read. Or it could just mean that you're on 2 different pages as far as what you within the family feel is needed, because the Sun is in the 4th house for family roots, traditions, and so forth. Maybe a family member is needing you, and so your partner has to be where he or she is. But you'll figure that one, and it's only, you know, a couple of days, like I said, so it's not a biggie. And the 4th house is actually really filled here for you, Libra. We have the Sun, we've got Mercury, we've got the new moon, we've got Venus, we've got Pluto, all of them coming together here in a little stellium in the 4th house. So family this month is going to be important one way or the other. There's transformational energies going on because Pluto is here, and being touched by these very personal planets might mean that either you or some family member is going to be needing more attention. And I see that you're happy to give it because Venus is here, so it is a love thing, right? A really strong bond thing. You'll feel that already January 4th with Venus and Saturn sextiling one another. And here we go with Saturn. It's the first touch, you know, of it being in the new sign of Sagittarius with Venus. So there's a communication that seems to be deep and open, and where maybe some advice is going to be needed from you, being the elder, so to speak. On the 12th, we'll see that Mars, which currently is in that very creative self-expression house, I see this is powering up because now you're moving into the 6th house of day-to-day routines, and so you're going to be quite busy. You're kicking into action of needing to look at how you can streamline your schedules so that you can be more efficient as time goes on. And you know, sometimes we fall into that old routine, and so the one day is the same as the other, but it looks like life is powering up on you, and especially when we're looking at that 2nd house of income, the shift going on. Some of you might have been looking for work, new work. Well, having Mars here in this 6th house from the 12th is actually probably pretty much gearing some of you, at least the early Libras, might see that this is going to become very important. Then we have on the 15th, we have Mars and Saturn. Once again, another little run-in here with new energies. Mars wanting to look at how you can structure, because now it's already in that 6th house. And Saturn's the 3rd house for short distance travel, communication, the way you communicate. And so here we have a little run-in of, are you doing this correctly? Mars is very creative in the sign of Pisces, where it is locally now. And so I see that whatever this little test may be, you're going to find a solution and be happy with it, because already by the 20th, so give it like 4 or 5 days there, you'll see how Mars is now opening up some ideal situation. It's a beginning of a dream, a goal that you've had, and now you can start implementing it. On the 19th, we have Venus and Jupiter opposite one another, just like we did there January 1st. So if you can remember and recall how that worked out, instead of Mars being there, now you have Venus there. And Venus is what you desire. It's your love. It's the values that you hold close to heart. And Venus now, having moved into Aquarius here on the 4th, well, you're asking yourself to find maybe an untraditional solution to a situation. Uranus, which rules this area, oftentimes will download inspirational thoughts. It's more like a clairvoyant image, so it can come to you really quickly, what you need to do, and it, once again, might be some advice that's needed from you from one of your children, since it rules here the 5th house. So the 20th, though, we have Mars and Neptune. We spoke about that, where you're gearing up towards hopes, dreams, visions. Feeling a little romantic here, perhaps, too, on this date. And Venus on the 21st, now out of Aquarius, and no, I'm sorry, out of Capricorn, and moving into Aquarius. So in the Capricornian energy that you had earlier in the month, it was more about goals and traditions and feeling that family security. However, now Venus wants to explore, which it loves to do when it is in the sign of Aquarius. It's more playful, it's outgoing, because the 5th house is Leo house, right? So you're going to see that from the 21st and throughout that of January into February too. We'll talk more about that next month. But romantically, from the 21st, it's going to be a great time for you, Libras. Enjoy it. Then on the 23rd, well, we have here a situation with Saturn between you, the essence of you. It's the Sun and Saturn. And the Sun is right on the cusp. It's moving out of that family-oriented energy, also moving into the 5th house of love and self-expression, creativity. So you're kind of like at a point where you can make some choices for yourself. What is it you want to do, Libra? When you have the time to do it, what would that be? Okay, so it's really asking you to take up those creative aspects that you have, Having Venus here is, you know, only once a year transit, so you want to enjoy it. If you have hobbies, great time to do so. If any of you have your own business, well, we do know that Mercury is retrograde too right now. But if you have your own business, you can see how Venus will add to it with new inspirational ideas. On the 28th, we got Mercury and Uranus, so this could be a day where your partner might come to you with an unexpected piece of news, or it might be you coming to him also with something unexpected. And it's good though, it's one of those good surprises. But then again here, January 30th, we have a couple of things going on all at once. We have Venus and Saturn square. So on the one hand, you're asking, do I really want to do or say or initiate this or that? It has to do with the third house of communication. Maybe some of you are going to give a presentation here on this day. Might feel a little apprehensive because you're feeling tested by Saturn, that some mentor or some boss or maybe a teacher, a professor is standing over you, hovering, eagle eyes, right? So you might feel that apprehension with it, but do not fear it. This is for you to really mark what you believe, what you have worked for, because on the very same day you have Mars, which is your drive, actually doing the dance with Pluto. And Mars, as I always like to say, is dynamite and Pluto is nuclear. When they're harmonious together, they will move mountains. You're going to do absolutely well on this day. You're going to tackle whatever you're up against, and you will come to see that Venus can come to rely on Mars here. So it's going to be an interesting end note of the month. We have the new moon. When I spend a little time on it, it is going to be in your 4th house for family. And so, especially because this has been such a family-oriented month, especially those first 3 weeks, you'll come to feel where your energy has gone and what is needed, because we're always evolving in the family dynamics, and there might have been some changes. So right now I see more like your new moon is putting out the intentions of, this is what I'm going to do, hold on to, and this is what I'm going to send ahead. You know, we put out the intentions not just for the coming month, but actually for the whole coming year within this area that has to do with family. The full moon, on the other hand, will be there January 4th. It's going to illuminate your area of career. So some of you might just come to see that this is going to light up for you, and maybe you will get a promotion, or perhaps there might be some opportunity that you can feel right now that you also deserve. You worked for it, Libra. So this is pretty much what we have here for our January forecast. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing and liking. And listen to your partner's forecast just to know where his or her Saturn is, because that is going to create changes for them as well. Just as it's been changing up now your financial situation, you want to know where his or her changes are going. And then listen to your moon and rising sign too. And I'll see you next month. Bye now.